panic attacks, caffeine addiction, slight smoking addictions, not being able to make friends easy due to trust issues, and problems with family members. Here's the list of good things you've done in my life. You put me into a position where I was being put with people who actually care for me enough to take Wyatt and I as their own children.
All right, you may proceed.
So I'm not sure where to start or the things to say to you, but this is where I'm going to start. Almost 16 years ago, when we got married, you said you would never hurt me or my daughter, who was only a couple months old at the time, or any kids in the future that we would have together. And I believed you. As our marriage went on, you ended up breaking that promise. You made me believe that I was crazy, and to the point to where I had to see doctors, therapists, and I didn't have friends anymore. I tried to help you be a better person, and it made you mad. I had no real warning about who you were. I'm glad I finally realized it with the help of some friends that I did make, and I made it out 7 years later. I made it out before things got so much worse than what they already were. Separated, divorced, went to court for our kids. You made people believe that I was doing things to our kids, and I wasn't. You played mental games with me and would verbally abuse me as well. After everything that you put me through, all the tears and the 7 years.
Court is calling 2022 CR 7283, State of Texas versus Christopher Brent Davis. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state? For the defense?
For Mr. Davis.
Suzanne Kramer, also for Mr. Davis.
All right, Mr. Davis, you entered a plea on May 7th of no contest. The court found there was sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court deferred finding of guilt. You're coming open to the court. Have both parties had a chance to review the report from probation?
Yes, Judge.
Yes, Judge.
Any objections, state?
No, Your Honor.
Defense?
There were a couple of corrections, Judge.
Yes.
Regarding his discharge from the Navy, it was stated in there that it was less than honorable. I think his actual discharge was a general under, what's it called? Under honorable.
Okay.
General under honorable, not less than.
Okay.
And at the very end where he states a few things he wanted you to know, he refers to something that happened to him at age 5, but a subsequent conversation with his mother that was determined to have happened when he was at age 2.
Okay. All right, any witnesses?
Not from the state, Your Honor. We just have argument.
Just Mr. Davis, Judge.
All right, could you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do have a couple other witnesses. Can we take them first, Judge?
Sure.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
All right, call your
Let's
first
call
witness.
Edith Davis.
All right, Edith Davis.
Stand over yours.
All right, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you're going to need to keep your voice up so the court reporter can hear. Could you state your name for the record?
Edith Davis.
All right, defense.
All right. And Ms. Davis, are you Christopher's mother?
I am.
All right. And I think you may have heard me state just a minute ago about something that happened to Chris that you said happened at age 2.
Yes, sir.
And can you explain to the judge what happened and how that turned out?
So our babysitter was leaving. We were looking for a new sitter. My husband's getting ready to go to Korea. We found a lady that was in the neighborhood. She had 2 other children that were a little bit older. I had come early one day and found their children throwing rocks down on my children. Christopher was almost 3, not quite. Then when I found out she was giving them dog treats for cookies for their snack. And I had known that both my kids, Kristen was disabled, but Christopher, very active, gotten very, very afraid of when I was cleaning house. I didn't understand why, but when I had talked to my daughter, she's told me that the kids would take the vacuum cleaner and suck on Christopher with it and tell him that he was going to suck him up and he would suck it. So when I saw what was going on at the house, I immediately removed him from the house. I found my next door neighbor was going to take care of them for me, so it took a little while to get him a little bit more calmed down, but it was pretty traumatic for them.
And did you have a statement that you wanted to read for the judge?
I do. That's okay.
All right. State, do you have any objection to the reading of the statement, or would
Sure,
y'all?
statement, Judge.
Well, I mean,
I know.
it's technically, it's a narrative, but if you all want her to read from it, or counsel, if you want me to read it,
I have no objections.
all right, you may proceed. That's okay. If it would, if you want to, I can actually read it.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, you're welcome. No problem. Just give me a moment. Thank you. All right, any further questions?
Do you have anything else you'd like to tell the judge? Okay, nothing from Ms. Davis.
All right, thank you.
I'm going to
Okay.
call Michael Davis.
All right, Michael Davis. Does anybody have any Kleenex?
I'm trying to get one, Judge. I can't reach.
Okay, thank you. All right, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Michael Davis.
All right, defense.
All right, Michael, are you Christopher's father?
Yes, sir.
We've had some conversation about this scenario, and it's my understanding that you feel like maybe you could have done something different than would have avoided all this. Can you explain to the judge what you're feeling?
Yes, ADHD runs in our family. I was never diagnosed, but I've had issues with it my entire life. I'd learned to deal with it. When Christopher finished high school, he quit taking his medication. And if I had, when he joined the Navy, if I had called the reservist office and told them that he was ADHD, because I know he didn't tell them, they would either rejected him or kept it, had him take his medication. His whole life would have been different. One phone call, if I'd made it, wouldn't be here. So, love my son. I know he did wrong, but that's all I've got, ma'am. I'm sorry.
No, I appreciate you coming in to testify.
I don't have anything further, Judge.
Any other questions?
No.
All right, thank you so much.
And Judge, at this point, I just have Mr. Davis.
All right, so raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Christopher Brent Davis.
All right, defense.
All right, Christopher, what is it that, other than what you already stated in the PSI, what is it that you would like the judge to know before she decides what your sentence ought to be?
Your Honor, there is no explanation, there's no rhyme or reason, nothing would be able to be justified as far as what my actions did. There's every day that I live with regret because it's not only one person I hurt several people, including my own children, my own biological children. The only thing I can ask is for forgiveness from them, and I will accept whatever consequence that you seem as punishable, Your Honor.
All right.
And Judge, this is the part where I do, like I tell my wife, if I tell you something from here on out and that you can accept it two ways, one to make you mad and one to make you not mad, I mean the one that makes you not mad. Okay. So, question that we have is what's appropriate punishment for this type of case for
All
Mr.
right,
Davis?
I'm sorry, just 1 second. State, you don't have any questions, do you? All right.
All right.
All right, thank you for giving your testimony. And so the range of punishment for this offense is 5 to 99 years or life.
That's correct, Judge.
So, State, what are you requesting?
Do you want my request and my argument or just my request? Right?
Your request.
You're asking for life, Your Honor.
All right. So they're asking for life. Defense, what are you going to be asking for?
Judge, we're asking for 20.
All right, so now, state, I understand why you're asking for life. Defense, I understand why you're asking for 20. So, one, I'm not going to sentence him to life. I've taken in consideration his testimony. I've taken in consideration the testimony from both his parents. And I want the parents to know, at some point in time in life, your actions are not the cause of your child's actions. Because how old are you?
38.
All right, so he's 38. At some point in our lives, when we're making our decisions, no matter what happened in our past that was horrible for us, or maybe our parents made a mistake in how they raised us, at some point, your actions are your own. All right, so I'm not going to sentence you to life, but I'm not sentencing him to 20. It's an egregious offense.
And if I may offer some perspective on that, Judge, that's what I
Yes.
intend to do. So we agree it's egregious offense. He agrees it's an egregious offense. It's something that went on for about 6 or 8 months from what we can tell from stipulated evidence. And yet the same day that we were pending, that we actually entered our plea, there was another person pending who's had a death of a child, injury to a child causing death. And the very next day, this same prosecutor's office, same prosecutor.
I'm gonna object to this
offered
line of,
them 18 years.
All right, okay, so here's the thing. Defense attorneys, you all know that sometimes people can be at the Bexar County Jail or at the prison. Sometimes there are people at the prison for murder, they get 5 years. Somebody else at the prison for murder, they get 30 years. Every case is different, and there's a reason why people are given certain times. And there are reasons why sometimes this court follows a plea, sometimes that I do not follow the plea. Now, what I'm telling everybody, the state has asked for life. State can ask for whatever they want. I've already told the state, I'm not giving him life. So the argument about what they did in other cases, that's not an appropriate argument. We're here for this. Now, if somebody wants to make an argument that the same fact scenarios, as we would call it in law school, that the case is on all fours, if there's another case that's on all fours with this case, where the state gave somebody 12 years or 10 years, then we need some explanation, because maybe things are not being done fairly. So if you can present a case to the court that's on all fours with this case where the state made an offer of something less than life, I think it's relevant. I'll hear it, because maybe something else is happening in the office.
Well, Judge, and I would offer you something on that. I think it's on all fours. I don't know whether it's on all fingers and toes, but there was a case in the 227th where the fellow was charged with continuous sex abuse of a child, same as Mr. Davis. He was allowed to plead to aggravated sexual assault of a child, same as Mr. Davis, but he was given 12 years.
All right, so
For a 4-year-old child.
So let me ask you this. Was that a case where you had a defendant who's alleged to have pretended to be a juvenile online and then tricked his stepdaughter into allowing him to engage in sexual activities with her by pretending if she didn't, the new friend that the defendant had created, life would be in danger?
Of course, Judge, I cannot offer you that, but they just, for selective prosecution purposes and sentencing purposes, substantial similarity, I think, is what they look for. And in this case, the same charge, same reduction, a 4-year-old instead of a 14-year-old, and this fellow gets 12 years and the state wants life. I know you said you're not giving that to them, but this guy gets 12 years in a different court, and Mr. Davis is looking at whatever that you choose to give him. So
Okay.
that's the only reason I'm offering that, Judge.
Right.
And again, back to I'm not trying to make you mad.
No,
I
here's-
don't want to visit my sins on my client.
No. Here's the thing. One, I don't get mad. I believe that everybody should be allowed their argument. I've been a defense attorney before. People should be allowed their argument. I've been a prosecutor before. People should be allowed their argument. I don't get mad. And what I can tell everybody, when you're in jury trial, if this were a jury trial, guess what? Defense counsels state's closing arguments, that's not evidence. Evidence is the steps that I have. Evidence is whatever testimony I receive. Closing arguments that counsel do on both sides, that's spin. And hopefully the arguments they're making is in some form or fashion connected to the case that was just heard. All right, is there anything else?
No, Judge, I would just like to highlight, there is one other statement from Christopher in the pre-investigation report. At the very last page, it states that he was the subject of a grooming himself when he was around 12 years old by a 39-year-old. We've discussed this, and again, Judge, he's not of the opinion that it's any excuse for what happened, and he doesn't even really know if it lent any any substance or predisposition for him to have done this, but it's just offered for the court for contextual purposes.
All right. So I want to let you know that I heard all of the arguments. I internalized everything. And these are very difficult cases. Anytime someone comes open to the court, it's very difficult. And let me just tell you why it's difficult. This is the type of case where everybody will say automatically it's a life case, right? But I go on facts, I go on what I read, I go on everything. I go upon, experience I've had in dealing with specific cases. Because otherwise, if every case were a life case, then guess what? We don't even need to have a punishment hearing. It's just, this is what you did. We prove it, you get life automatically. So I look at everything. What you've done, of course, is something very bad. And people are going to be impacted for years to come, right? So sometimes when I consider what to sentence somebody to, I think about their age, I think about protecting of the public. And there are many things that I have to consider. Like, for example, is somebody going to allow you to be around children again? That's something I have to consider. Like, what age will you be where people will see you and they will not say, oh, that's a good catch. Let him babysit a child. Those are all things that I have to consider because part of my job is protecting the public. And I also have to consider evidence that's presented. I consider the stipulations that you stipulated to. So this is what the court is going to do. Court is finding you guilty. There's to be no contact with the complainant. There's to be no contact with any minor. There's to be Chapter 62 registration. Court is going to sentence you to 45 years. Court will give you credit for any time served. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it? All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? Sure. All right, we can go off the record. Here's the thing I want to let you know, just a second. I want to let you know that I appreciate the fact that you entered a plea to this, you entered a plea to it early, that when you came before the court, you didn't try to be wishy-washy on whether you did it or not. You are a person who truly took full responsibility for what you did. And I appreciate that you did that. All right, so can you mute us, please? All right, you may proceed.
Do I start reading?
Yes.
Okay. Even after all you've done, after all of the activities you did and all the messed up things you did to our quote unquote family, I was able to fill myself with remorse, empathy, and sympathy for you. Now, don't twist it because I still hate your guts and wish you the rest of your life in prison. Also, don't be expecting forgiveness out of me. You might be able to convince other people, but you won't get it from me. You ruined a lot, but don't go raising your ego because you thought you ruined my entire life. You've only ruined things in it. You got away with it, or you've also improved my life. You got me away from you and Ashley. You brutally taught me how not to be so naive. You got the rest of my family away from you and Ashley and into a safer place. But most importantly, you found a way to wind yourself in prison. Here's a small list of all the things you've done to me, starting with the bad. You've made me relapse many times, gave me PTSD. You gave me a sleeping problem, suicidal thoughts, plus 4 different attempts, depression, anxiety, paranoia and trust issues, problems with talking about my feelings, nightmares constantly, fear of using any bathroom, gender questioning, panic attacks, caffeine addiction, slight smoking addictions, not being able to make friends easy due to trust issues, and problems with family members. Here's the list of good things you've done in my life. You put me into a position where I was being put with people who actually care for me enough to take Wyatt and I as their own children. That's it.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else? All right, Ms. Davis?
Yes, Judge.
All right, you may proceed.
So I'm not sure where to start or the things to say to you, but this is where I'm going to start. Almost 16 years ago, when we got married, you said you would never hurt me or my daughter, who was only a couple months old at the time, or any kids in the future that we would have together. And I believed you. As our marriage went on, you ended up breaking that promise. You made me believe that I was crazy, and to the point to where I had to see doctors, therapists, and I didn't have friends anymore. I tried to help you be a better person, and it made you mad. I had no real warning about who you were. I'm glad I finally realized it with the help of some friends that I did make, and I made it out 7 years later. I made it out before things got so much worse than what they already were. Separated, divorced, went to court for our kids. You made people believe that I was doing things to our kids, and I wasn't. You played mental games with me and would verbally abuse me as well. After everything that you put me through, all the tears and the 7 years, you had everybody still believing that I was doing all of this. But eventually, you were caught because you did it. Sorry. I've been angry, yelled, screamed, cried over everything, and I blame myself for it, for not being able to protect our kids. You're not half the person I thought you were. But after all these years, I realized that your actions say more about your character than they do about me. I hope that life gives you everything that you deserve and you live peacefully with your choices that you've made, because our children and I won't be losing sleep over you anymore. You are where you belong. I feel you not only need for me to apologize for things that you did to me, but to the rest of my family and to these kids. And I hope that you pray hard for that and that one day they can forgive you. But I also want to sit here and say thank you in a roundabout way, Chris, for everything that you've put me through, but because you've not only made me a stronger woman, but you've made me a stronger mother when it comes to protection of our kids. The kids have decided that they wanted to say something to you. Our daughter states that, to me, you were never really my father, only because you treated me like I was nothing, for always lying and never listening when I told you the truth, for robbing me of my childhood and making me have to grow up too quickly.
All right, excuse me. I'm so sorry. The defense has raised an objection. I'm going to sustain that objection. Thank you so much for coming in to give your statement.
In a chilling courtroom moment, the victim finally speaks out, and her words hit harder than any sentence. She describes years of trauma, manipulation, and emotional abuse that shattered her life. From PTSD and anxiety to suicidal thoughts, the damage runs deep. But today she stands strong, no longer afraid. Looking directly at the defendant, she delivers a brutal truth. I still hate you, and you belong in prison. The courtroom falls silent as pain turns into power. This isn't just testimony, it's survival, justice, and a voice that refuses to be silenced. And this time, the world is listening.
Keep your voice up so the court reporter can hear. Could you state your name for the record?
Brian Ashley Daniel Spencer.
All right. Could you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, yes.
All right, you can lower your hand. Defense.
All right, would you tell the judge your relationship with Mr. Daniels?
Marlon is my father.
Okay.
And do you live with your father?
I do.
Who else lives there?
I have two little children, my 8-year-old and my 6-year-old, myself, and then I'm currently pregnant.
Now, does your father have a job?
He does.
Is he currently employed?
Currently, yes.
Now, is he able to work from home?
Right now, they're not allowing him to. They just need understanding that he's able to go to work physically, and maybe something from home could be worked out eventually. I'm not too sure.
Are you available to give him a ride from your house to work and then from work back home?
Yes, yes.
All right. Are you asking the court to allow you to do that?
Yes, please.
Do you have a vehicle?
Yes, I do.
Does it have an ignition interlock in it?
No, he doesn't.
Would you, now does Mr. Daniels have access to that?
We live together. It's at the home. As far as him driving it, no, but we do live together, yes.
In order to get the opportunity for you to drive him to work, if the court so requires, would you be able to put an ignition interlock in that car?
If that's what's deemed necessary, yes. Yeah.
What are you asking the court to do for him right now?
To allow him to be able to go to work physically. I believe that is the only thing the employer is preventing him from being able to actually go into office or work at all. So just for him to be able to go to work.
Now, why is it necessary for him to go to work?
Because I mean, he accumulated bills. It doesn't stop. Nothing has stopped. I can only help financially so much. I know going to work would help alleviate the stuff that has came up and help assist with what's going on currently.
Can you support yourself and him if he doesn't work?
I can't do that.
So is it necessary for him to go to work and be paid by Social Security Administration?
Yes, it is.
Is that where he works?
Yes, it is.
He's a government employee
Yes, he is.
and he currently has a job.
Yes, he does.
Has he used his leave from his job? Does he have
Yes.
any leave left?
The only leave that I know of is his sick leave, which they are not allowing us to utilize.
All right. And if he were allowed to work, would you be able to tell the court that you would make certain that he doesn't leave the house except only for work?
Oh, definitely. That's the understanding. He's home now. If he is granted permission to go to work, the only place that he's going to be allowed to go is to work, to and from work. So yes, that would be what we're going to do.
Now, does he have an ankle monitor?
Yes, he does.
Is that a GPS monitor?
Yes.
Is it expensive for him to have that monitor?
Yes.
All right, so let me just stop you right there. State, do you have any objections to him being employed and going to work?
Judge, I was misinformed. I was looking at something else.
Okay.
So that's what I was looking for. I don't think at this point the state would be opposed for him to be able to work, but we would be opposed to any vehicle being at that household that didn't have ignition interlock that he possibly would have access to.
All right, so I like to get to the point sometime because maybe a lot of testimony is not needed, but if more testimony is needed, you all just let me know. So is this the only vehicle at your house? You only have one vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so that vehicle is going to need ignition interlock on it. All right, so that's off the table. So
All right.
next
now,
thing,
Judge,
employment.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I had asked them about that and they told me they opposed.
Well, here's the thing. We
Okay.
are where we are now.
All right.
Everyone, you know, sometimes people have testimony and things change. Sometimes what I'm going to do originally, once I hear different things, maybe, you know, what I'm going to do changes. So, you know, when you're getting what you're asking for,
Oh, I'm not.
you know, let it lay there.
Yes, ma'am.
So they want you to have ignition interlock on the vehicle. Are you going to be able to do that?
I need to understand what that is and what I'm going to be responsible for.
Oh, well, it's a device that's placed in your vehicle. And anybody who's driving that vehicle, they have to blow into it.
Okay.
Now, state, if that vehicle has ignition interlock on it, are you okay with him driving or no?
Oh, no.
All right, so even though your vehicle will have ignition interlock on it,
Okay.
he's not allowed to drive it.
Okay.
All right, so there's to be no driving. Now, the next thing, with regards to the GPS, do y'all still want him on GPS? All right. Counsel, I understand why they want him on GPS because it's the nature of the offense.
I understand. We're just asking if you would waive the fees for him because they're having some difficulty.
All right, I will tell you what, I'll put in there to waive the fees or defer the fees. The problem is these are third-party contracts. So I have no authority to tell them the fees must be waived. So I'll put in there that the fees are deferred
Okay.
or either waived. If they waive them, great. If they just defer them, great.
Okay.
There's supposed to be a monitor that's free. I don't know where that monitor is. So I've been trying to figure out where's the free monitor and who has it, but that's where we are. So he's going to be allowed to work. State doesn't have any objection to that. There has to be ignition interlock on the vehicle. He has to have GPS. The GPS fees, I'll ask that they be waived or deferred. Anything else?
That's all we want, Judge.
All
Thank
right,
you
see
very
how this hearing ends very quickly on a, you know, Friday's Eve?
Can I
Yes.
ask okay, so with the interlock, is that a fee as well monthly?
That is a
So,
fee.
Am I able to request a waiver on that one too?
I'll ask that it be waived or deferred, but I can tell you right now, what I'm going to get is I'm going to get an email from that company and
Mhm.
somebody's going to say, Judge, you're not allowed to waive fees on that. I know I'm not, but I write it down anyway because maybe some person will say, hey, we just found the free monitor,
Gotcha.
but you will have to pay for it though.
Okay, but as long as he's able to go to work to help assist, that's fine.
Yes.
Okay,
All right. Thank you so much for coming in.
thank you.
Judge, would there be a written order for pretrial
Yes.
services? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Mr.
Thank you.
Daniels, if you by probation through Mr. Gibson for him to have his conditions amended to no harmful or injurious contact with Claudia Rushing in lieu of the no contact order. I've reviewed the file. She's not the complainant in this case, but the court entered the no contact order due to the nature of the offense.
And Your Honor, just to let you be aware, there was a case where she was the victim.
Okay.
I don't know if it was TIC or if it was just dismissed outright. It
Okay.
was an ag assault.
Let me see. Yes, it was NIMAG number 552093.
My JD's not working, Judge, so.
Oh, yes, I know JD.
But I believe that's correct. I believe, because I did happen to know that case was dismissed for whatever reason.
All right, and probation, do you have a report for the court?
Judge, since the last compliance hearing, back in April, he's been visiting with, Claudia Rushing and the children as you directed. There has not been any kind of issues, or anything with those visits. The CSO assigned to Mr. Gibson did speak with Ms. Rushing, who reports no issues. And she states that she and the children hope that he can return to home. He's completed lifetime. He was residing at the Oxford House, but he couldn't afford to continue living there. So right now he moved in with his brother-in-law, with his brother-in-law. But there is some other issues to, there are requests for him to be able to move back in to help with the children, and to get the family back together. He continues with his weekly sober support meetings and aftercare treatment. The probation officer doesn't seem to have any issues or qualms about him residing back with Miss Rushing, and I've asked her to join the Zoom meeting today. Judge, I did forward you a court summary so you can kind of overall look at the case in your email.
All right. And I do see in the court summary, and I'll give you this part.
So Judge, we are asking for you to lift the contact restrictions and allow Mr. Gibson to reside with Ms. Rushing and to continue with a no harmful or injurious contact order.
Okay. All right, you want to raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand. How many days sobriety do you have?
I have 7 months and I think 3 weeks.
All right, so how often are you doing AA or NA meetings?
I try to get 3 to 5 meetings in a week, and then I'm doing my, as needed with outpatient from my time.
All right, and are you employed?
I'm currently not. I'm doing staffing through People Ready, and I'm currently actually have an interview today with Wash Tub on as well.
All right, and what time is your interview?
He said just come by at any time before 6.
All right, and how old are your children?
My daughter is a year. The oldest boy is 11, and the other one is 9.
All right, so you say your daughter is a year. So the other 2 children, are you their stepfather or biological?
Yes, I'm stuck.
All right. It always perks up my ears when people sort of seem as though they're putting more favoritism on their child when they're a stepfather.
I'm definitely not.
All right.
They're all equal to me.
Okay. All right, any other questions?
No.
All right, so I'm going to call Ms. Rushing in. All right, could you unmute, please?
Hi, hello.
Hello, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you
Yes,
solemnly
ma'am.
affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
You can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
My name is Claudia Rushing.
All right, any questions?
Ma'am, in this particular case, would you want Austin to move in with you?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that again?
Would you like Austin to move back in with you?
Yes.
And back when this happened, there was a case of aggravated assault where you were named the victim, is that correct?
Yes.
And you chose not to press charges.
Yes.
And can you tell us briefly what happened that day?
So Austin came to the house and he was under the influence of drugs. I'm assuming he looked kind of out of it. He got upset because he wanted his money. He had $200 in the bank and he wanted that money. And I told him, that money was for bills, that we were not going to touch that money. And he got, I guess, he got agitated maybe because of the fact that I didn't want to give him the money. And so he grabbed
We have,
a knife from the kitchen and, was telling me to give him his money back. And then I just told him, hey, I'm going to call the police. Like, if you don't leave, I'm going to call them. And then he just put the knife on the table and then, he left.
Okay. And were the children present at that time?
So both my older kids, they were sleeping. This happened around, what was it, like 5 in the morning, 5:30-ish in the morning. So the boys were sleeping. The only one that was up or was woken up was my daughter. Well, our daughter, mine and his.
Okay. And so when Austin was on drugs, did he have violent tendencies?
I mean, apart from him like pinning me against the wall and then, then with the incident that happened, outside the house, as not really. I mean, he never hit me. I mean, he didn't hit me. He didn't like put his hands on me apart from like what I told you. That's all he did.
Okay.
And I did tell the police that day, that I think that Austin shouldn't, be in jail. He should get help, like be in rehab or something, because of his relapse. And so I did tell them that I didn't want to press charges on him. I just wanted him to get help because, I care for him. We have a kid together. I want my child to have her dad, And so what I honestly think, it's just he needs to continue to do what he's doing right now so that he can stay sober, and get help. That's all.
Okay, well, that was my next question. Since that date and since he's gotten help, has he ever done drugs that you're aware of?
No.
And if he does do drugs, would you call the police and inform the police or the probation officer about that?
Yes. I think, what's important is that he stays sober. And so I will do what I need to do so that he can stay that way. Get him help, tell the probation officer, tell him like, hey, you need to tell your sponsor, tell somebody, push him to get help.
And do you know who his probation officer is?
Sarah Davies.
So you have her number?
I have her number. I have her email. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. No further questions, John.
all right. Ms. Rushing,
Yes, ma'am.
since he's been allowed to have contact with you, what is a normal activity that you all do together or do with the children?
We've gone to the mall to go, eat and just eat, walk around. We took family pictures on the, what was it, on the 17th. We took some family pictures and we have gone to the park, we've drove around. He's had good contact with the kids. It does get a little bit depressing, at the end of the visit because the children will say and ask like, oh, when is daddy coming home? Or why does daddy have to leave? So that is always, like the downside of the visitations,
All right. And do you have any fear of him?
No.
Do you have any fear of him being around your children?
No.
All right. So here's the thing in this court, to be successful at probation, and I think people are aware, and I know the state does this as well, and so does probation. We want people to be successful on probation. Otherwise, the state would not have requested that they be on probation, and I would not have agreed for them to be on probation. So with sobriety, you cannot slack with it. You have to be vigilant about it, because if there's a slip up, then it's going to lead to other things. He's on probation. He's not allowed to drink alcohol at all. So if there's an event, and I know we have the 4th coming up and other holidays, Juneteenth coming up. He is not to backslide. You're not to backslide, drink alcohol, because then that just downward spiral. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. I actually don't drink and he knows that, so that shouldn't be a problem.
All right. So this is what the court will do then. State, do you have any objections to lifting the